Everybody ready?
Yep. Let's go.
Lothra, Lothcat, Lothwolf, run. Pick a path, and all is done.
War Midwest Guys presents Star Wars Rebels HQ.
Continue to allow this war to be fought on the Empire's terms. You are going to lose.
All paths are coming together now.
As long as we're together, we've got a chance.
At least we'll go down fighting. It's time to get to work.
Your TIE defender is at risk. Krennic has been quite persuasive about his own project, Stardust.
Ezra, it's not whether or not we fight.
It's how we choose to fight that matters. I know, Kanan.
We were meant to be Jedi so we could be here now when Lothal needs us most.
All the paths are coming together, right?
I'm just not sure if we're going to like where they lead.
But we never imagined it would end like this.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Star Wars Rebels HQ. Today we'll be reviewing Season 4, Episode 9, Rebel Assault. And here to help me do that today is Mr. Brian Eckenbauer.
Hey, what's up, what's up?
What's going on, B?
Not much, man.
And my brother Aaron.
Hey, man.
How's it going, dude?
Yeah, going fine.
Alright guys, we're finally here. We're at the very last episode before we go on the mid-season break. The battle is finally here, what we've been waiting for probably all since the beginning of Season 3. The attack on Lothal's factory begins. The Rebel Assault. So let's begin. So we start off with the X-WINGs coming right out of hyperspace. They come right at the Empire, I guess Thrawn's embargo or blockade of starships. We got X-WINGs. Finally, we have X-WINGs and Rebels. For the first time ever, we have X-WINGs and Y-bombers. I believe it's like 24 ships in total, they say.
Yeah, it looks like a real Rebel fighting force.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I think that's about the size. I've never actually counted, but I think that's close to the size that they made a first attack on the Death Star with. Maybe even more. The one thing I did notice about these X-WINGs, guys, I don't know if you guys did, they all had green on them. So...
Actually, no, I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, every last one of them had green. So I wonder, since we had Red Squadron for the Death Star, then we found out in Rogue One we had a Blue Squadron. Was this indeed perhaps a Green Squadron that Hera has taken command of?
Right. So before we actually get to see our yellow and red, or yellow and gold and stuff, we actually had a green and a blue that got dismantled
before we even had a chance to see them in action.
Oh,
so.
could be, man.
Yeah. So pretty cool. But anyway, so they're a very confident group of pilots, ready to fight. I think the one says something like, "They got numbers, but we got skills," and they're all hyped up and ready to go, definitely. And
yeah, I mean, this is essentially the Rebel force you want, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when she says lock attack foils in position and accelerate to attack speed, I love the sound effects. It was all right. Took me right back to the Battle of Yavin 4.
Dude, this is right up my alley too. It's the
ships,
the vehicle, the ships, the battle sequences. It's like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
It was great. They did some barrel rolls when they started off. I was like, oh
yeah. There's that nice kind of almost slide maneuver.
Yes,
where she ends up shooting backwards.
Yes, yeah. We'll get more into that. But yes, my goodness, what a great opening scene. It's Thrawn. He seems pretty happy that the rebels have finally attacked because he goes, at last, finally.
He seems pretty confident about it. He's like, this is to be expected, but And
his cool, calm demeanor, as you pointed out, Aaron, he also goes, well, their target's obviously going to be the factory and the fuel depot. And then he sends out Skerris back and his TIE Defender to lead the counterattack. He sends out Skerris. So, but yeah, what just an absolutely, just a really good opening scene. What'd you think, Brian? Anything else jump out at you?
No, I mean, it's just... Yeah. I was sitting here and I was like, oh my god, if the rest of this episode is like this, it's an A+ already.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty action-packed episode overall.
Yeah, I mean, but just with the opening, you're like, oh my god, this is what I've been wanting. Basically, this entire series was stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like the battle sequences in space. Because, this is, like, to go, Aaron, back to the other podcast we were just on, to go back to, like, this is the kind of stuff we did within our head
when we played
with the toys, was the
barrel roll.
barrel rolls, and going through your yard and having somebody chase you, and this is what we saw in our head.
Yeah,
and it's cool to see it coming to on screen.
Yeah, I think that's what's best about this time about being a Star Wars fan is you have Star Wars fans making Star Wars movies, making Star Wars cartoons. So you definitely get that love, and you see the extra care that's taken.
You see, like, kind of their own imagination from when they were a kid, kind of playing a part.
Precisely, because they were doing the same thing we were. You know, it's like we're playing with the toys, like, oh yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if this happened or this happened? And suddenly there it is. It's like, oh my goodness.
That's probably why you also see a kind of with force powers, you see kind of a general expansion of them in time as well.
Yeah, in fact, it seems like, I think with the exception of maybe episode 3, it seems like every movie we get a new force power. So, it's progressed.
Yeah.
I think Empire was telekinesis. Return of the Jedi was obviously the Force Lightning. I'm trying to remember what episode 1 would have been.
You kind of have like the giant jumps from like
force speed was
we have force speed
was
force
episode
jumps.
1. Force jumps. Episode 2, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Yoda absorbing the force lightning. So that was for 2. Like I said, I think with the exception of 3 is the only time we don't see a new force power. In episode 7, it was her touching the lightsaber and having the visions and stuff like that. Force visions. So,
and then you also have the thing where like Kylo Ren actually just knocks her out. Like,
yes, and putting her.
It's not
to
quite
sleep.
Like a Jedi mind trick, but it is just kind of
overwhelming her with the Force. Yeah, so that's also in 7. Yeah, so it seems like every movie you get at least 1 or 2, new Force powers. So, but anyway, so we switch from the opening battle sequence in space, and while that's going on the ground, we've got Ezra, Kanan, and the rest of the rebels are on the ground setting the explosives on these gun towers, which is outside of. They don't really show it, but I'm assuming it's outside the factory in the city, the capital city. It's obviously part of their ground defenses against an aerial assault.
Yeah.
They very easily blow up the gun towers, and Price kind of radios to Thrawn, I'm vulnerable. And of course, Thrawn being typical cool, collected Thrawn, he's like, everything's fine. On the contrary, you're quite safe. And he's confident though for a good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's got a surprise for him, so to speak. Switching back to space, you got the rebels. They're taking some losses here, but it seems like they're taking more ties with them than they are with the losses at first anyway.
Yeah, but at the same time, just the skill to number ratio is it's a little overwhelming.
It's a little overwhelming, but they seem to be very well trained. And then the regular TIE fighter pilots. That is until we see the TIE Defender come in with Skerris, and then right away they lose 2 X-Wings, and pretty violently too. We've talked about this in other podcasts about how they kill off people. In this one, you see one guy get blown apart pretty quick. And then you see the girl, she loses 1 wing, she loses another wing, and then she bites it. So, they're showing some people dying and some heroes dying, even in this episode. Which, what'd you guys think about that?
As far as I'm concerned, there was cool scenes. Like we know that's how it would happen.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool to see the electricity and the short circuiting going on around her, and then she blows up. You're like, that's exactly how I would imagine it would happen. But in the second thing, you're like,
what's my 5-year-old gonna think?
Exactly. Like if I'm watching this with my kid, like what do they? They're just watching someone just like blow up, and it's like, and you get to a point you're like, are we letting them see that kind of stuff too soon?
Right. Are they going to ask questions? Where did they go, Daddy?
Yeah, where did they go?
Are you guys not having questions of mortality with your children yet?
At this point I have, because mine is now almost 8, but
mine's well past that. I'm just talking about everybody else.
But we're putting ourselves back in time a little bit. For me, not so far long ago. Yeah, there might have to have some question and answer time with my daughter. What do you mean they're gone? They're gone. But so definitely they start taking some losses. Hera steps in, and suddenly Skerris realizes it's her and goes after her. So now we've got ourselves a dogfight in space. So Skerris versus Hera. At first, Hera's unable to shake him. She says the TIE fight, the Defender's just too fast. Even she's making that comment. And then she's got a pretty damn good idea. She goes after the Star Destroyer. And Thrawn realizes this, and he actually orders Skerris to back off, but when he refuses, Thrawn does something weird. He fires on both ships. Now, Mike,
I don't think he fired on both ships. He fired at Hera, knowing that Hera would move.
Uh-huh.
He told him to get out of the way because you're in line of fire.
Yeah.
These things are not that accurate.
Yeah.
You're in line of fire. Get out of the way. No, I've got her. Well, suit yourself. I'm going to fire at her.
Right. So does he do this? Is he doing this as a punishment on Skerris because he disobeys him, or is he doing it more out of respect from Hera? That in a battle sense, that Hera is better than Skerris in battle, and therefore lets Hera play out her tactics as a matter of honor, maybe. Because he's so.
I mean, I can see your logic there, but it could just be a matter of indifference.
Okay.
It's kind of like if the chess piece isn't moving where I want it to move, oh well.
But it's also his prized defender that's out there.
but
It's only the one.
It's still a test.
Right, but they have the battle
you can make
plans and
more
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a self-preservation type thing, but more so than a respect thing there, because he's like, get out of the way, and he's like, no, I've got her. Suit yourself. I'm not going to go down for you. You're thinking you got her.
Right.
I'm firing.
Yeah. No matter what happens. See, I think he's so tactically minded, and is so caught up in the whole idea of war and the battle of war and the art of war. I actually think he does it, and he lets her get away with it.
So he can just keep watching for.
So he can just keep watching and keep observing, and it's almost like an honor thing between foes. Almost like he respects her ability so much, and where he doesn't respect Skerris or Scarif or whatever at the Skerris, yeah. But yeah, it just. To me, that's the kind of vibe I get from Thrawn. Is he gets so caught up in because he's so big about art and he's so big about learning and how he respects.
So like even when you feel like he's being serious, part of him is still like, all right, I can learn more here.
Not only can he learn more here, but he respects his opponent. He honors his opponent. He gives them.
Oh no, I agree with that. He gives a lot of credit to them.
Yeah,
and how they fight and their styles and everything else, and he does think. From what it seems like, he does think he can learn from them and maybe improve on himself.
Yeah.
However, I don't see that him just letting them do what they want just for a learning experience to a degree. Like it was one thing early on to do that,
right?
But now, like coming right towards him, I think it's a self-preservation thing. He's like, you know what, just get out of the way, or I'm going to blow you up. And he shoots and fires.
Yeah, and it could be. It's very possible that could be that. I just feel like with him, he's. Like I said, it's almost like an honor amongst warriors kind of thing, and I think he's letting Hera get away with it because he knows he's still got the battle won in his head. So, and if he doesn't really like Skerris, or Skerris has disobeyed him one too many times, it's two birds with one stone to him. I don't know. That's just a vibe I got from that whole
interaction.
I could be way off base, but that's just how I saw it. Obviously, by doing this, though, they strike both ships. Both ships lose their shields. But like Hera says, she goes, well, I don't have shields, but neither does he. So she's kind of, leveled the playing field almost between them. And then she does that awesome maneuver where she swoops up and attacks the tower. And then she pulls back, and the TIE fighter itself pulls back. And we've talked about this last podcast about how that's what we used to do with art when we were playing with the ships. Hits the brakes. Scarif can't seize her because of the explosion. Comes out, she's right there. Hits him, blasts him, takes him out.
I mean, if you think about it, that's just like the speeder bikes from Endor.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi.
Or Top Gun all over again.
You know what I mean? Like where you like almost like just stop, the other ones go by, and then they speed up and go behind them. It's like. That's awesome. Like, and originally when we were, growing up, it's like, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that with bigger ships?
Right.
Oh, they can't do that. Blah blah blah. When they're watching, like, yes, they can.
Yes, they can. It's pretty sweet. It's like I said, it's Top Gun. Again, I think there's somebody on this team, whether it's Filoni or one of his other members, who likes Top Gun. It's very Top Gun-esque to me too. So it's just, and not only when she hits him. which is funny. Like, he goes into one of the smaller cruisers, takes out the cruiser ends up crashing into another Star Destroyer.
The dominoes effect.
The domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me want, not only is it fucking cool, but and it creates an opening for their attack, but to me, her attack and her style and how it all just seems to flow, it almost feels like a Jedi move to me, almost in a way, because of how not only is she a damn good pilot, but all these other things happen.
It kind of reminds you of like Anakin in Clone Wars, is that?
Yeah, very much so. And I wonder, is she possibly Force sensitive in some way, shape, or form? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Just straight up pilot skills.
I think it's pilot skills, but I also think, with as much credit as Thrawn gives her, that she's very good at like that kind of thing. But then again, it's also what we talked about last episode, where when things get weird, that's when good things start happening.
Right.
And the Rebels, they kind of had the dominoes fall in their way a lot.
Right.
And that's kind of what happened here, I think, where she hit the one, hit another, we just see it cascade.
Yeah.
I don't think she planned it out or had any kind of force with it.
It just makes me wonder, because you've got the guy who's the keeper of the hollow. They call it the like the holocrons or whatever. In real life, Pablo Hidalgo, and he's kind of retconning Han Solo a little bit lately, and he's thrown out the idea that maybe because Han was such a good pilot, that Han may have been Force sensitive, and they never picked up on it. Kind of.
I don't know. I feel like.
But not that you want to give everybody Force.
Leave it alone.
I feel like it's kind of like the way that can be kind of an issue. Like, if pretty much like everyone becomes like Jedi or Jedi Light, you're kind of ruining some of the characters.
Michael Jordan was good at basketball because he had the Force.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
That's why he won the Space Jam.
It was just high midichlorians.
Oh, don't bring up that word. All right. So let's move on to Thrawn's trump card. It looks like, they basically, again, and here's the honor thing again. It goes, they report to Thrawn, hey, the rebels have broken through. And Thrawn goes, well, it's regrettable, but it's a testament to Captain Syndulla's skill as a pilot. So there again, he's giving her the credit and kind of honoring her, skill, I guess.
Yeah. He's just respecting her.
Right.
I don't know, I wouldn't say honor.
Well, okay.
Respecting.
Okay, well, all right, we'll call it respecting. And then here's his trump card. He says, contact the second wave to engage. So even though the rebels have broken through, they think they're on their way for a bombing run. They run right into a huge wave of TIE fighters in the atmosphere of the planet.
Right. Yeah. It was funny because when I was watching that scene, Hera's movements with how jerky she was, like trying to look at them all. It reminded me of what's that one character who drove the Falcon, Nub or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, Nub. Yeah.
When he's driving and he sees all that stuff happening, he's like, oh, that's exactly what it reminded me of. When she's driving, I'm like, oh, that looks like borrowed movement, but it was still you got the sense of, oh crap,
we're fucked.
Yeah.
Because
I think that the second wave was bigger than the first wave.
Yeah, it was,
because it was like an actual blockade, coming.
Yeah, that was like an entire wave, and a testament to Filoni and his team, because I know they don't have the budget to do a huge space battle, but they did a really good job with this outer space scene, and then how they did a quick cut to how they hit the second wave, and it's a way of getting around money wise, and also still creating a good story.
Yeah, the other thing that you could tell, like as far as money wise and everything else, and they didn't have to do as much detail because they were in the atmosphere, and they were in the clouds.
Yeah, they could hide some of it.
You could hear everything, and you could only see a few things, but you knew it was just a giant wave coming towards you.
Yeah, so nice job there. So yeah, it was. They obviously they cut these guys to pieces, and all we see is the rebels, what's left of them, burning up.
What we saw in the trailer.
Yeah, coming right down on the capital city. So
honestly, even the fact that one or two ships survived, that's still kind of impressive.
It's impressive to their fighter skills, to begin with. What did you guys think of Thrawn's trump card here in use of?
Oh, I thought it was
tactic.
It's kind of like when you watch some old war movies and you have the first battalion kind of wearing down and waging war and both sides wearing out. All of a sudden the cavalry comes in on horses and just runs them over.
Yeah, to me it felt like Thrawn. They're they're finally starting to use Thrawn the way I like them to use Thrawn. He uses his intellect and he uses his battle strategy. That's when he's at his best, you know, especially in the books. You really got that sense, and I got that sense here too, that this shows how much of a tactician he is and a commander, and how he played out his chess pieces and stayed cool and calm because he knew he had the ace in the hole. He just had to lure him in, even if they got through.
Well, this really reminded me of like medieval times, where you would see the first wave go in the battle, and you see the other side like, we've won, and then they wave the flag, and the next wave comes over the hill.
The cavalry comes over,
and you just see the other one. They're just like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it felt like. Like it felt like, you know, like I was watching like Robin Hood or something else like that, but in this universe,
or Braveheart,
like Braveheart. You know, like you're watching the battle and you're rooting for them. You're like, they're winning, and then the next wave, and it's like, oh crap.
Yeah, they're done for.
It was very well done.
It was. So from this point on, the episode switches from the space battle to what I like to call X-Wings down. It's from this point, it's all about surviving in the capital city after being shot down, kind of thing. It's kind of reminds me
like that behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines, Black Hawk Down, that kind of feel to it. The whole episode switches, which I wasn't expecting, and I was.
It catches the tone really well, though, which is kind of surprising.
It really does, and I really enjoyed it. I was a pleasant surprise.
They changed the city to have that more dystopian vibe as well. Like it really the atmosphere just really is very conducive for that story.
It really is. So the X-Wing down, as I like to start. It starts with Thrawn ordering Rook to capture any rebels alive, especially Hera, because he hears Hera's crash landed there as well. And the rebels on the ground, they have to retreat. Obviously, Kanan's reluctant, but he goes along. But he's still worried about Hera. And Chopper ends up waking up an unconscious Hera. Obviously, she's crash landed. And Chopper's the first to kind of come out of it and try to get out of it. And you even see the townspeople trying to help him. But as soon as the troopers show up almost instantaneously, and they have to hit the road. But it's but yeah, because of the lockdown on Lothal, it's a good point, Aaron, how it sets the atmosphere for the chase through the city.
Yeah, I mean, it also makes sense why you don't see a lot of people wandering out at night, because there is a curfew or in place.
And obviously they've only come out because there's been a crash landing and etc. I don't know, Brian, what do you think of the whole opening to the X-Wing down?
Yeah, I mean, and it's exactly what I thought of when, like, the whole Black Hawk Down or Behind Enemy Lines.
Right.
It felt very familiar. I think those movies did fairly well anyway, so it's it's an easy plot to follow and apply to this. And then like the next part where they're going to get escaped, but then they hear the distress signal. It's one of their own.
One of their own.
Like when I thought that, I actually thought it was the assassin.
Oh, Rook leading them in. That would have been cool. Yeah.
Like that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to not be. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very cool, and very cool to see her land. The only thing I didn't, I don't see Chopper passing out because of a crash landing,
right?
Or waking up first.
Yeah.
And I also, if he was able to open the cockpit door, why did he wait?
Why did he just open
it and then tap on the glass, or why did he open it and then tap on her or whatever?
Yeah.
Like he can spin around really fast and slap people.
Yeah.
How come he did not? And he's just looking through the glass like, "Hello, wake up." You know what I mean? Like it's just.
I think it was for dramatic effect, but yeah. But yeah, I'm with you. So obviously Kanan. So we switch back to the rebels real quick, and Kanan decides to go back for Hera. And kind of a surprise, really, Sabine wants to go, but Ezra's the one that kind of holds her back and goes, "No, if anybody can save her, it's him." Which I thought was a little out of character for Ezra a little bit. Didn't you guys think so? Because he's usually first
more emotional, like
charge in kind of thing. I don't know. I just found that a little.
It is a little different, but it's hard to say why that is.
For the moment, I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
So, like, I really think this is going back to the whole
dark side.
Yep, because Ezra's like, oh, he'll get it because he knows that there's still a battle on Lothal, and he wants them to win the battle on Lothal because that's his planet.
Yeah, so you think he's being selfish?
So I think he's being selfish, and he's like, no, we should all go.
Yeah.
And let him go try to, because he only loses one that way.
Right. I guess, but I mean, Kanan is a Jedi, but I guess he is too. But
and there's these little things, like these little carrots that they're putting out there with, the whole on the crawler.
Yeah.
Could have saved the guy, didn't.
Right.
Got a smirk on his face, let the guy fall in. Now, when normally you would say, where Ezra would be like, all right, let's all go get him. Let's all go get her, or whatever. Let's all go get them.
Right.
Now it's no, we'll let Kanan go. We'll go this way. I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. I'm still not sold on it, but yeah, there could be an underlying tone there going on. It's possible. I don't want to believe it. I don't think. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm in denial. So we switch back to Hera and Chopper. Chopper's transmitter is damaged in flight. That's when they hear the distress call from Mart in his crashed X-wing. Just a real brief reminder: Mart is he was the leader of that Iron Squadron. So many seasons, so many episodes ago. He was that young kid. I'm not sure what happened to his other two members.
I was gonna say, that was the one with on the space shuttle for the Empire?
That's the one where he was the nephew of Commander Sato.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, there was two other members of the squadron. I'm not sure what happened to those two. But anyway, just as a brief reminder, where Mart comes from, and it's kind of nice to see him. They put him back in there. It's, again, another old character returning. But Hera rescues Mart. Unfortunately, his R3 bites the big one from the troopers. They make kind of a big deal out of it, I guess. But they take his transmitter. They'll give it to Chopper. But unfortunately, all communications are jammed by the Empire at this point anyway.
Yeah, it's really weird that as much as we don't see it, every pilot has such a strong connection to their droid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the droids are particularly useful. Like, even later on this episode, Chopper does save Hera briefly.
Well, no, I mean, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, it's
a big difference between the movies, or at least the classic movies, and Rebels with the droid. Because even Luke, for the most part, treats R2 more as an item.
Yes.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like in Rebels, these droids are like almost like, this is my best friend.
Right. At least
that's because you've had a greater humanization of the characters.
Yeah, that's true. We've come a long way with the droids and loving the droids and stuff. But even
they've been big sellers in terms of the toy market. So.
Right. I understand. It's just weird for me. To see that these pilots have such a strong connection to these, especially somebody like Mart, who basically just joined the rebellion.
Yeah, but he's had that R3 even on his ship. He was like his engineer. Yeah, kept the ship going.
Oh, okay.
Kept repairing. Remember him and Chopper get into it over fixing the ship.
That was the same droid.
Yeah, it's the same droid.
See, I didn't pay that close attention to him because. I'm not in that whole, like, I love my droid type.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing I find funny about it is, like, the droids are clearly sentient on a human level. Clearly are complete slaves in the universe, and yet save things all the time.
Right, they're like puppy dogs.
Kind of.
A little smarter.
Like,
but yeah.
But you can treat them like shit, doesn't matter, they're still there for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you
don't. It doesn't matter if you beat them and chase them. As soon as you go, come here, let's do this, and they're right there to help you out.
What sort of relationship do you have with dogs?
Except for Chopper. Chopper has that whole.
Chopper's a cat.
Yeah.
Where R2-D2's a dog, Chopper's a cat. Mm-hmm. He's the asshole. But yeah, actually, the more I think about the whole Luke thing, he does say, there are some lines. He's like, "Hang on back there." He does say, "No way." When they ask if they want to change out Astromech droid, says, "No way. Me and this little guy have been through too much." There is a little bit of emotional connection. It's just, it's that much more pronounced as time has gone on. I guess maybe that, to your point, Aaron, that
No, it's one of the things when we're talking about the evolution of the universe. It's definitely something where they've allowed the character to be more developed in time.
Yeah. So eventually, Rook catches up with Hera, and I like this whole hunting down scene with him.
Like seeing him just like climbing on the rooftop.
Yeah, I was way more impressed with this
than last
than I
episode.
was in episode
Oh, dude.
7.
Rook was like
Yeah.
actually really impressive in this episode. Like the fight scenes with more.
Like I really wanted to see this Rook in the first one. That we saw him.
It was cool to see him jump from building to building,
Yeah.
and tracking him while he's jumping. You
And
know,
doing the whole Aladdin thing, jumping from the
Rift-
balconies.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how they designed his figure, and like actually having him being like almost like in a tree-like setting really works for like how like his like body mechanics work.
Well, yeah, because he's definitely a monkey. Like
Yeah.
you can see just the way he runs with his arms and his legs are
It
smaller.
definitely plays a large role in how they designed the character. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even when I was first watching it. I was talking to Brian, and I said, "Hey, didn't he seem smaller in this episode than he did in the last one?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I'm actually watching the last one now, and he's basically the same size." Well, what it was he was coming off that ship, and he seemed taller.
Mm-hmm.
But as you got into the scene, he did like shrink down next to Price, because in this
I think
episode he
he's
seemed really
essentially-
small.
Yeah, because of the
He's
city.
about the size of Ezra,
landscape.
isn't he?
No,
Yeah, he's a little small. He's actually smaller because even when he rests on his knuckles,
just like an ape.
Okay.
like an ape. Yeah, essentially.
Oh,
But yeah, I think part of it is the city landscape too made
Mhm.
it. But he was very effective on that, and I got to admit the idea of a monkey assassin after watching him, it's kind of badass, really.
Yeah.
You know.
And what did you call it in our notes? Kung Fu Jedi?
Kung Fu Jedi, yeah, or Kung Fu-esque, straight up Matrix Kung Fu shit.
Yeah, it was.
With Hera. Hera's showing off some really... she's looking for the nearest sewer hatch, but when they finally... Rook catches up with her and they get in the fight, she does this, like, freaking flips, barrel roll, flip back over Matrix shit, and it was pretty
Yeah,
damn
it's almost
impressive.
like something you would see like in a modern spy film.
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
she's way more than just a pilot.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just...
Out of curiosity, does these like last couple episodes seem very Hera focused?
yes, and I...
Like not only like focused, but like it really is like highlighting the character's attributes.
It does, because it's really expanding upon her, because I didn't know she could do any of that shit. I mean, I know she could shoot a blaster, but up to now she's
No,
always...
how accurately she shot a blaster that was actually super impressive.
That was impressive.
And is just they're only doing this because they're setting us up for that her,
Well,
dying.
We know she survives.
Well, we know she makes it into the part of Rogue One,
Well,
and it all depends on how much this goes. If it overlaps Rogue One,
Well, like, do we actually know that's her in Rogue One, or is that just an assumption?
Well, and I'm going to throw this out here, just to be warned.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high.
Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at
Spoiler alert.
So you've
dude, if
been...
they haven't seen Rogue One yet,
Well, not only... It's not just Rogue One. So, they're doing this, and I don't know if Forces of Destiny is necessarily canon.
Have you actually been watching those?
A couple of them.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen them yet.
And the latest one...
I'd watch it. Yeah.
There's an episode where Han Solo has to work with Hera on Endor
With the Ewoks?
after the Battle of Endor is over.
Oh, okay.
God, spoiler alert! I haven't watched that yet.
So
That's why you played the clip.
that's why I played the clip.
I didn't have my headphones on. I couldn't hear it.
That's funny. Anyway, well, that's why you should wear your headphones.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so if that is canon, then therefore Hera and Chopper, because Chopper's in it too, both survive past Jedi.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
that's kinda
but that, again, I don't know if Forces
So
of Destiny...
maybe that's why they're highlighting
Highlighting.
her, because she's gonna make it through and be in the movie.
Maybe, or she...
How
maybe
was she? How fast do they age?
Twi'leks? I don't know. I've never looked it up.
Because I wonder if they're doing if they're making this such a prominent
whether it's a character that actually can survive to like 8.
yes, the one that we're gonna see in episode 8.
She could be an 8, or maybe they put her in the next animated series.
I wonder if we.
Like they're like elves; they just live for hundreds of years.
That's what I'm saying. So I wonder if we're gonna see Hera and Ezra in 8.
It's possible.
Since my theory is that
Bel
Benicio
Toro,
del Toro is going to be the
Ezra.
Ezra.
It's possible. It could be. But I really like it because I love the expansion of the character. Because up to now, she's just been a really good pilot, a damn good pilot, and the mother of the entire group.
Mm.
And occasionally fires a blaster. Here, she's she's a stone cold killer.
Oh yeah, we're watching this like everybody was kung fu fighting.
Matrix shit going on, and I mean, so
yeah, like not only have we seen her as a good pilot and a strategist, but here, like you see her just being very quick on her feet. Like you have that fun moment, like you're really good at distractions. Like, am I? You are now.
Yeah.
It's like we got to do something.
But to Rook's credit, eventually he does get the better of her. But Chopper at least saves her right before he's about to kill her. So, but still, though, I like the expansion. And then Mark chases him off. So Kanan on his way back, we switched back to Kanan on the speeder heading back towards the capital city. And all of a sudden, there's the wolf. And he slams on his brakes, falls off, skids off the whole 9 yards. And he goes from being incredibly pissed off to incredibly calm in like 2 seconds. Because he goes, where are you? I don't have time for this. Otherwise, stay out of my way. Next thing, the wolf's right there. Doom. Boom.
And then Kanan goes,
I understand. What must I do?
I understand, okay.
I'm like, what?
I know, what? I was like,
huh? What?
He just said your name. What the hell is that?
It's like, Aikenbauer. Oh, okay. I know what I need to do. Thanks for putting me on the right path. I'm not going to go save the love of my life. Okay, got it.
Going to McDonald's, getting myself a cheesburger.
Yeah, and we're good. Maybe they're rushed for time, and maybe he communicates something through the Force with him, with a vision. I don't know. And maybe they're hiding that from us on purpose for future episodes. But I don't know. To me, so I'm going to throw some questions out here at you guys. So does this mean that because he says Doom, and Kanan says, I understand what I must do, does it mean that he must follow the Jedi path fully and become maybe Caleb Doom again, and thus be the Jedi that he was always meant to be?
What does that mean in context, though?
Well, Caleb Doom, when he was a Jedi, he was known as Caleb Doom.
No, I mean, but like, what is the difference between how he's currently living his life and how he would continue his life as
right
Caleb
now?
Doom?
He's kind of like the cowboy Jedi. Still, he's getting more as he's
like. Is it more or less just hey, be a Jedi, give up on like emotional attachments?
Well, that could be part of it too. But here's the part. I mean, as this series gone on, we started off with Kanan using his blaster more than his lightsaber. And he was more like the rogue.
Yeah, in the beginning, he was hiding the lightsaber.
Yeah, he was the rogue Jedi and a cowboy Jedi. Now, as the series has progressed and more things have happened to him, especially when he got blinded, he's become more of a Jedi again. So, the only thing I can think of with this whole Doom thing, and especially after this scene, is that does it mean that he fully embraces becoming a Jedi knighthood?
I mean, he's been a Jedi Knight for a while.
By Yoda, anyway. But he's still not. He says to Ezra all the time, "My training was incomplete." Blah blah blah. I don't know, Brian. What do you think? You think we're?
I have no idea.
I know it's very hard.
I have no idea what angle they're trying to point us at. It just seems like to Aaron's point, what would be different than what he's doing now, except for the wolf is definitely pointing him in a direction more Force-centered, I guess, because he did say that the Lothal Wolves are very Force-centered. By him saying Doom, he's I guess reminding him of his past. But I don't know what that would change from what he currently is.
Like there might be references if you read the comics or read the old his backstory. Like maybe there's a reference to something like you would get like he has a plan somewhere, but not knowing that, no idea.
I don't know. Like I said, I guess I think it's all about him completing whatever's missing in him becoming a full-on Jedi or maybe Jedi Master. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because technically you're right. He was knighted, but he's not really a master. He has an apprentice, but he's a Jedi Knight. I don't know. It's kind of murky. But he's always never been completely like... He's not like Obi-Wan or...
Right. Well, I think would be cool is if he get his eyesight back.
He really seems to like he's doing fine without it.
Well, no, I know he's doing fine without it, but just for me, I think it would be very cool that him connecting with this Loth Wolf and like the Force, it actually gives him his sight back. Like right now, he can sense stuff and he can basically use the Force like the Matrix.
I mean, he like Force maybe, or maybe like Force sight or something where
like just something where he like we don't see. He doesn't need the visor anymore to cover up his eyes because he can actually see.
Using the Force, kind of like he is now, maybe, but better.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. It's it's not entirely clear, obviously, and I think that's obviously something that's we'll be mulling over through the break. But yeah, so I don't know. So eventually, the rebels try to continue their escape through the city. They finally get to that sewer hatch, and it's blocked by a walker on top of it with 2 stormtroopers. I kind of like how Mart draws them away. I love how Hera uses the speeder to take off the walker. Again, showing her tactical skills, using whatever she can. I don't know. What did you guys think of that whole scene?
Oh, it was a great scene. I mean, even when you get to the point where she's still distracting them while Chopper kind of opens up the hatch, like, you really see it kind of play out through the entire scenario.
Yeah.
Know?
Brian, anything else?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was kind of odd that they knew that that's what they were trying to go for. I mean, it's obviously that Thrawn
put him there.
Right. But I just thought it was odd that it would be one thing to have it kind of guarded, but to have the walker on top of it,
shows how much they're guard. Yeah,
yeah.
You think they would have sealed them too somehow?
And that was my other thing.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't they? If they know that's how they escape, why wouldn't they just
seal them? Yeah,
seal them off.
Go around. Yeah. Blowtorch.
They might still have a functional purpose for the city.
Could be. That's a good point too.
I mean, it could be, but it was just, or you put some kind of Empire lock on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, but like you could make the argument Chopper might be able to get around that still.
Oh no, I understand. But I'm saying, like, it was just the walker on top of it
was a bit excessive.
I feel like it was over the top. Like if you just put 2 stormtroopers there to guard the tunnels.
Yeah.
Like say they were running down the street and they get to the first one and there's 2 stormtroopers guarding. You're like, crap. And they go to the next one and there's 2 stormtroopers and they're like, crap, all of our exits have been blocked. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they're running through the streets and everything else, guarding, and they get to the one tunnel they're supposed to use and there's a walker on top of it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That kind of shows Thrawn too. He's like, you're not getting here without a serious fight. So I don't know. But it was good ingenuity. It was another good thing by Hera. Mart and Chopper make it to the hatch, and Hera's about to, but Rook shows back up and puts an end to that. And I like how Hera sacrificed herself, saves Chopper and saves Mart, and seals the hatch behind him.
She really kind of gives them time and actually has a really good precision shot to close the hatch.
Yeah, she does. And it almost cuts Chopper in half.
She's like, I said, go. Boom.
Right, exactly. And
don't have time for argument.
Yeah. So Mart finally follows, gets out of the city at the same hatch that they did earlier, a couple episodes earlier. Meets up with Kanan. Basically tells Mart there's nothing he could have done, but there is something I can do. Again, what is it that he can do?
And the other part was, he goes, Hera, and he goes, I know. Like, he didn't even tell him what Hera did. He's like, I know. Like,
I know, Chop. Yeah.
So like, how do you know? Like, what did the Loth Wolf tell you? Because obviously, it feels like the Loth Wolf told him something,
right? And we just
and he showed up at that tunnel, waiting for them to come, and he's like, Hera, I know. Oh, okay, you already know because
the wolf is obviously something happened because he goes from, like I said, we go from one extreme to anger, pissed off,
to calm
and collected like that. So something happens between him and that wolf in that split second in the Force. It has to be. It's the only explanation.
Ahsoka.
Huh?
It's Ahsoka.
So could be, maybe. I mean, we'll find out. We've only got, well, let's hold off. So the episode ends with the Loth Wolf again, just kind of staring off into the distance, and they do another close up of the Loth Wolf. The thing, the other thing about the Loth Wolf and its eyes are Sith eyes.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah, it's kind of
like yellow and black.
Yeah, the yellow, and I know some wolves are naturally that color, but it just.
I just assume that's more of like a cat eye effect.
Yeah, but when they did that close up, I'm like, that reminds me of the Sith eyes, like Anakin gets in, like when he's Vader in Episode 3. I don't know. Just an observation.
Yeah, it's a good bummer of a ending, though, isn't it?
It is, really, because it's a cliffhanger, obviously, and it leaves you with, like, I guess the cliffhanger should, more questions than...
I mean, did we talk about her meeting Price?
No, we didn't actually. Yeah, that's a good point. So when, what'd you guys think of that when Hera's like, I'm looking forward to meeting you, and she goes, just such a small victory, and stuns her. Hera's really, Price is really looking down on her, really, or trying to degrade her.
I almost feel like Price had built her up as something like great.
Yeah.
And she gets in front of her and she's like,
who the hell are you?
Yeah, wow, okay, this is the great Hera, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Rook taps her with his little thing and zaps her and she's out. Or was it go the other way around?
I think she was trying... Well, I think Rook captures her and then she stands up and then she shoots her. But I think it was more to degrade her more morally, I thought. Like, such a small victory, such a great effort, and yet here you look at what happened. You didn't make a dent.
Just being an asshole.
Well, that's like what the Empire does.
Yeah, exactly.
Taunt him.
Yeah.
15 yards.
Well, I mean, the Empire is pretty much the Nazis all over again anyway. I mean, it's that same kind of feel. Or any totalitarian regime. Can't say that again. Anyway, let's do final thoughts and grades. All right, Aaron, final thought and grade for Rebel Assault.
I'd probably give it a B to B+. I mean, it's a very Hera-focused episode. You really see the expansion of the character. Like, in terms of just, like, the themes for the episode, it does really good. It has great action in the beginning as well as towards the end as well. So, overall, it's a great episode. Okay,
Brian, what do you think?
I think this is the first episode this season that I'm going to give an A+ to.
Okay, cool.
I mean, for me, like, the opening to this with the whole battle scene, and then... even the hand-to-hand combat between Hera and Rook, that was great. I think the only downside to this was the whole, like, we're not getting the added information we need between Kanan and the Wolf. But I can deal without that because we got that great battle scene to start the episode out. So I'll go with A+.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do the same. I'm actually probably just go ahead and go A+. I love the X-Wings at the beginning, down to the sound effects, the barrel rolls, the action, the new use of the X-Wing against Skerris with Hera, that whole the strategy of Thrawn, the tactics, the way it changed from that kind of an episode to like an X-Wing down, Black Hawk down kind of feel and vibe with them being hunted through the streets. I loved all of it. Even the wolf, which is annoying, it was still an interesting thing, and it obviously got me thinking, and it will keep me wondering throughout the break, that's for sure. So, A+ for me. Okay, so where can you find 4 Midwest Guys? Well, it's real simple. You go to the number 4 MidwestGuys.com. Again, that's the number 4 MidwestGuys.com. One more time, the number 4 MidwestGuys.com. There you can get links to our Podbean, to our iTunes, to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube accounts. You can follow, like, subscribe there, but you can also check out all of our podcasts there. They're in chronological order, or if you go up to the top of the links, they're all categorized. So if you just like Star Wars Rebels, you click Star Wars Rebels. If you like Game of Thrones, we actually have 2 different podcasts for that one. They're all there. It's all categorized. One-stop shop, the number 4 MidwestGuys.com. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
And this is B. Willie saying, may the Force be with you.